Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to be breaking down Elephant Stone by the Stone Roses. This is a Patreon requested lesson and I've got a massive thank you to G and Elliot, who are my latest followers. If you'd like to get involved in the channel and vote on my next lesson, please click the link below to my Patreon page and check it out. And with that in mind, give me a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and let's get into it. Let me start by running you through the sound. Today I'm going to be using an American Fender Strat with single coils on the middle pickup. We're also going to need to throw a capo on the first fret. I'm going to use my usual combination of overdrive, which is going to be a DoD Looking Glass combined with an exotic super sweet boost pedal. I'm going to dial in the gain to about 12 o'clock and then the bass and treble to about 1 or 2 o'clock on both. To go along with that, I'm going to be using a Boss CE2W chorus pedal and I'm going to set the depth and rate to 12 o'clock on both. To go along with that, I'm just going to be using a little bit of reverb from the amp. Alright then, let's start on the introduction to Elephant Stone. To make things simpler, I'm going to mix the electric guitar and the acoustic guitar into one simple guitar part. The introduction riff should just sound like this. We are simply going to start with an open G, second of the G with our middle finger, open B, first of the B with our index finger, and then either ring or pinky finger to the third of the high E. And I'll just play that one more time. We're then going to go backwards, and that's going to be third of the high E, first of the B and open twice, second of the G with our middle finger, and then the open G. Altogether we've got this so far. To finish off this introduction riff, we're going to play this. Once again, climbing from the open G, second of the G, open B, first of the B, then we're going to play a D major. And then we're going to start this repeating sequence where we're going to play the high E string, then the B string and the G string. It goes like this. So we'll start by strumming the chord, then we're going to alternate having our middle finger on the second of the E and then taking it off and playing the open E. We're going to start with it on, then we're going to take it off. Then we'll put it back on, then we'll take it off and play that twice. So very slowly we have this. And without our middle finger on the second of the E, it becomes a D sus2 shape. Anyway, once again, our introduction sounds like this. Let's now move on and have a look at the main riff. This is going to be the thing you're going to play the most in the almost 5-minute runtime of this song. It just sounds like this. So we're just going to arpeggiate a few chords here. We're going to start off this G shape. And we're going to begin with the third of the low E, then third of the high E, third of the B, and open G. From here we're going to move into our D sus2 shape, starting with the open high E, third of the B, then second of the G. We're now going to move into a new chord. We're going to call this C add 2 or C add 9. It's got a really great sound, that one, and it's essentially a normal major chord, so a 1, 3 and 5, but you're adding in the second note of the scale as well, so it gives the chord a slightly suspended feel to it. Now you could call it C add 9 or C add 2 because the note is played at a high register, so either works quite well. Anyway, we're going to start off the lowest note again for that one, so third of the A, open high E, then third of the B and open G. So we're starting to form our progression now. We've got this. You're also going to notice when we go to that C add 2 or C add 9 chord, we're going to push the rhythm on that first note, so the third of the A. Listen to it again. So it's coming in slightly ahead of the beat there. Anyway, to finish that chord, we're going to play a little riff. And that's going to be second of the A hammering onto third, open D, then second of the A, open, and third of the E. Once again, it goes like this. I'll just do that again. We're then going to play the progression a second time, but the riff at the end of that C add 9 chord is going to be slightly different. It goes like this. So this time we're going to pause on the last note of our C add 9 chord. It's just for a moment, then we're going to come back in third of the A to second, open, and third of the E. I'll just do that again, but a bit slower. The progression so far sounds like this. I'll just do that one more time. We're now going to move into an ascending riff where we're going to have to do a little bit of string jumping. It goes like this. We're going to start at the third of the low E, then we're going to play the open G, third of the B, open G, then we're going to play the same thing, but we're going to move the bass note, so the lowest note. We're going to change it from the third of the E to the open A string, then we're going to ascend it again up to the second fret of our A string, again keeping everything else the same. Then finally we'll move it over to the third of the A. You might want to take a moment to practice this. Once again, it goes like this. And a bit quicker. From here we're going to move into our final chord, which is going to be again another D sus2 shape. It just goes like this. This time we're going to start with the open D, third of the B, second of the G, and the open D again. Then we're going to play the open high E, third of the B, second of the G. Then we'll bring our middle finger on to the second of the high E, making a normal D major shape. Again, we're going to go E string, B string, and G string. Then we're going to take our middle finger back off and again repeat E string, B string, and G string twice this time. Altogether it becomes this. And a bit quicker. We're going to play through that entire riff twice, then we're going to move over to a C add 9 chord and let that ring out. Then a D, and finally a G, at which point the guitar is going to disappear for a few bars. Now that we've got the main bulk of the riff out of the way, let me show you a couple of alternative ideas to do with the riff that happens at the end of the first C add 2 chord. I'm not completely convinced on playing it one particular way, so I'm just going to show you another two. Here's the first one. So for this, we're going to start again at the second of the A, hammering onto the third, then playing the open D. But now we're going to play the open A string and hammer onto the second fret, then play the open D, open A, and then the third of the E. The second idea I've got for you goes like this. So it's a slightly simpler version. We're going to go from the second to third on the A and open D again. Then we'll do open A, hammering onto the second fret. Then immediately go back to the open A and third of the E. So now your choices for that initial riff on the first C add 2 chord are this. Have a listen to the record and see what you think. Let's talk about verse number 1, which comes in around the 2-minute mark. The guitar would have been quiet for 6 bars, and then it's going to come back in with that riff on the D chord. And at this point we'll go back into our main riff. This time we're going to play it 3 times round, and there's going to be a couple of variations on that riff over the C add 2 chord. Check this out. So the first variation on that riff over the C add 9 chord is going to be one that we've just had a look at. It goes like this. And that's second to third on the A, open D. Then we've got open A, hammering onto the second fret, open A again, third of the E. Then the progression is going to go around that second time. And again we've got another variation there. This time we're not going to hold on the last note. So there's going to be no pause, we're immediately going to go back to that third of the A, then the open D, second of the A, open to the third of the E. I'll just play that slowly. Once again, it sounds like this. We're going to play through that 3 times, like I said, then we're going to go back to our C add 2, D, and then we'll be into the bridge. Another thing to mention in the first verse is there's a couple of overdubs that happen. We're going to have a quick look at the overdub that the acoustic guitar plays on the last time round on the riff. It happens over the C add 9 chord and it just goes like this. It's going to start by coming in on the offbeat. We're going to play the G string 3 times with 3 upstrokes. Then we're going to play it a 4th time with downstroke. And play the 3rd of the B twice. Then we'll do first and open. Then we'll do the open G again. We're then going to go to the 3rd of the B, again playing it twice, first and open, and another open G. So together we have this. This bit of overdubbed guitar is also going to feature in the exact same place in the second verse as well, so that's the 3rd time round the riff over the C add 9 chord. Going back to verse number 1, there's going to be another bit of overdubbed guitar. There's going to be a bit of slide guitar that's going to come in all the way from high up the neck, down, and then land at the 5th of the G and go all the way back up to the 13th. Let's now have a look at the bridge, and I've got a couple of ideas for you. The first one goes like this. So we're just going to be following the vocal melody with the chords that are available to us. We're going to start with that G shape. Then we're going to drop the bass note with our index finger down to the 2nd fret and then immediately bring it back up. And from here we can go into an E minor, still keeping our ring and pinky finger on the B and E strings. Then we're going to climb back up. Index finger goes to the 2nd of the E, middle finger goes to the 2nd of the G, and then we start again. On the 3rd time round, we're going to do something different. Our index finger is going to go to the 2nd of the A. Then middle finger to the 3rd fret, back to the second, then open, back to our original starting position, once again it goes like this. Let me now show you the second idea. So this is going to be a condensed version of the riff without any of the mud from the chords. We're going to start with the open G and third of the B, and we're going to play that twice. We're then going to bring our ring finger over to the fourth of the D, then play those two notes again. While those two notes ring out, we're then going to bring our index finger over to the second of the D, we're then going to play those two notes again, then the second of the D a second time, going back up to the fourth of the D. So we have this so far. Then we'll repeat it a second time. We're then going to move our ring finger to the fourth of the G now, still keeping our middle finger on the third of the B. Then we're going to extend our pinky finger to the fifth of the G, then back, then index finger to the second of the G, then open. Again, it just goes like this. After we've played through the bridge and then the second verse, there's going to be a breakdown before going into the final verse / outro, and there's going to be 6 bars of silence for the guitar. Then we're going to come back in with this riff. So we're going to play a D major. Then very quickly afterwards we're going to play an open D, hammering onto the 2nd fret, and 2 open G notes. We're then going to move over to the 5th of the D, if we're forgetting about the capo for a second. 5th of the D, open G, 3rd of the G, to the 5th, back to the 3rd, then we'll play our pinky finger on the D string, 6th fret, ring finger to the 5th, then we'll go back up to the 6th. If you want to get straight back into the action, if you're the only guitar player in the band, you might want to replace that last note, so that 6th of the D, with a G chord, so you can go straight back into the riff. So you'd have something a bit more like this. So the very last thing on the list for us is going to be the outro, and this is essentially going to be the main riff played through twice. That's all there is to it, but there is an interesting overdub that happens over the second time through the main riff. It just sounds like this. So we're going to start up at the 9th of the B, and for this we're once again going to be forgetting about the capo. So 9th of the B, we're going to play that and hold it for 1 bar and 1 beat, which is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. The notes we're going to play after are going to be on the G string. We're going to go 8 to 6, then 5 to 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. I'll just play that again. We're then going to go back to the 9th of the B, but this time we're going to ascend up to the 6th of the E, then to the 8th, 9th, then back down 8th and 6th. Then we're very quickly going to go to the 9th of the B and 6th of the E. So all together we would have this. From here we're going to go into this triad riff, which sounds like this. And for that we're going to be up at the 10th of the G, 9th of the B and 8th of the E. And that's a simplified version of an F minor bar chord. We're then going to go down 2 frets and then make a major triad this time, so 8th of the G, 8th of the B and 6th of the E. And again that's a part of an E flat major bar chord. We're then going to take that shape down 2 frets, so the 6th, 6th and 4th, which is a C sharp major, and then we're going to go down 1 fret and make a minor triad, so 5th, 4th and 3rd, which is a C minor triad. Together they become this. And with the earlier riffs combined at a faster speed, it becomes this. And from here we're going to go into our D riff. And then to a G, at which point the guitar is going to exit the song. So that concludes my lesson on Elephant Stone by the Stone Roses. Hopefully you've got a much better understanding of the song now, and thank you so much for watching the entire video. I'll see you on the next lesson.